What is going on, YouTube? Bruce here again. I wanted to show just an initial video on this character that I've been making. This is a Locus Mine Ice Shot Deadeye. So if you don't know what Locus Mine is a new support gem that was added this league. It makes you throw out bow or attack skills in mines like this, and then they target you. So something like that. And it has been an absolute blast to just kind of run around with and create as a Deadeye, and I've been having a really good time with it. So I just kind of want to do a general showcase because I'm kind of going back and forth between this character and a melee character because I was feeling some melee. So I want to talk about this character, and then I'm going to make a follow-up once I get closer to maybe level 95 and have actually kind of taken out some bosses, all that kind of good stuff. But for now, let's just talk about the build itself. So this is target on my back because, of course, arrows are all targeting you. They're all shooting you. I'll go over leveling first. If you were to try to level this build, what I highly recommend is that you just level as an Ice Shot character. Level as Ice Shot purely until you get to right around level 32 and get yourself a Death's Harp if you don't have one already. And that's because of the bow attacks fire 2 additional arrows. That is very important for this build because there is a mod here somewhere in all of this. Let's see. Supported skills fire 30% less projectiles. This is flat. It exists on the gem at all times. So you really want to make sure that you have additional projectiles. Otherwise, you're going to be throwing mines that have just one projectile on them, and it is not going to feel nearly as good to use. So I very much so recommend that you wait until level like 32, and also right around level 32, maybe rush over here and get multi-shot first just for another additional projectile. Then I would say you can level with it, and even while leveling with it, I would say still use greater multiple projectiles, as well as it will just then vomit projectiles everywhere. Like you can see right now with all of the projectiles that I have, if I were to remove returning projectiles support, you can see it is just a mess of projectiles that you can have sending out. So it's really good. It becomes really good for clear as you're leveling. But really, once you kind of get those gems locked down, that is my recommendation as far as leveling goes. Don't worry about leveling it until you kind of get to a point where you can have more projectiles. Ascendancy wise, I would say take Ricochet and then Endless Munitions first. The chain is nice for clear. Endless Munitions, again, more projectiles, more good. After that, you can go ahead and take Gathering Winds, and then you can finish it off with Focal Point just for the increased effective marks. Not really a huge deal. It's more so just a damage increase. But yeah, and with that, let's just kind of go. So that's just basically how leveling goes. Let's move into the tree. Nothing too crazy on the tree. Some primary things that we're taking. We want anything with reservation efficiency. Reservation efficiency is very important for mines. We're going to take some crit stuff. We're going to take some accuracy, and we're taking elemental damage, and then we're taking mines. So as you can see here, we have charisma. Of course, charisma is just such a good node. If you skip it, that's weird. And we're just kind of going to be making our way up top of the tree. We take ballistics, take Heart of Oak. Instead of going through the top path here for Revenge of the Hunted, Forces of Nature for penetrating elemental resistances is very nice for this build. I highly recommend you come down here and do the T-shape with it, and then make your way over here. So, as a node as well, for multi-shot, all of these nodes here give you increased attack speed. None of that matters. You do not need to have increased attack speed with the build. Attack speed does nothing. You have a very much so have a flat throw speed with this. So don't worry about getting additional mines thrown with one of the supports, because it will always throw 4 unless you did that, but I would say don't worry about getting additional mines. Don't worry about anything like that. The other thing, so I would say once you get enough projectiles as is, you can remove this node. Like, I'm actually kind of comfortable removing the node now. As it is right now, it fires 4 arrows. I'm fine with 3. If I take this out, I'll have 3 arrows. So I'm sort of fine with removing this, but I figure I'm going to end up refunding this and putting it probably just into the spell suppress tree here. So I'm kind of just waiting to get a few more levels, just that way I can be spell suppress capped when I do just take this. So for now, I'll take the comfort of having 1 additional arrow for the time being on the mines. But otherwise, we're coming down here for King of the Hill. Crit chance good. You could also take Master Fletcher if you wanted to, or maybe both. Spec something else out. take that instead if you wanted to. Life nodes where we can get them. My chess piece doesn't have any life on it, so taking the increased max life, very good as well. You can take these jewel sockets with enough levels. I just do not have those levels in yet. And then up here, so we are going to come up here and take assassination. Also just has good life nodes, generic other good stuff. Not bad whatsoever. We're going to take Ghost Dance, of course, just good tankiness. And then we're going to come up here into this Mind Wheel here. These Mind Wheels are very, very good. So be sure you grab all of these nodes. Go up the crit chance side instead of up the mind damage side. Also, that reminds me. And then just kind of make your way over here. I think if you wanted to as well, you could probably, if you got enough reservation efficiency, you could probably cut this entire direction out here and instead go through Written in Blood. But I don't, and so I'm going to be going up and around and taking efficient explosives because that's just really good. Throat Seeker, of course, good. Snowforged and Successive Detonations, all very good nodes. We have some additional life regen whenever we detonate a mine. Yeah. I will say as well, for the Saboteur node here, I think this is probably decent to take, but I also don't think it's entirely necessary for this build. A couple other notes as well is that you do need to have accuracy. So actually for bow mastery, instead of the reductions to projectile speed, I actually have the accuracy node spec'd here. You could take some additional accuracy elsewhere. You could take the plus 500 minus 2 per level. That also I think is completely fine. It would probably just allow you to reduce this. My bow I think has 4, so I'm getting 400 accuracy from that, which is just, that's just nice. So I am coming all the way down here. Potentially I could instead, I haven't really looked if using this gold damage is worth it. But I am coming all the way down here because I like thick skin, and also because Fangs of Frost is very good with the damage penetration, and I'm converting the other 40% that Ice Shot does not convert into cold damage. But I think the end goal is to actually use your gloves as a conversion instead. Having Fizz converted to cold on your gloves, I think would be better. And then just respeccing these, 5 points right here and putting them elsewhere, whether it be into more spell suppress, a jewel socket, whatever else you want to do. Which I will talk about gear in a second, though. One last thing I will say for the tree, and then I will move into gear. Tree-wise, you have the tree here. What I'm going to be doing is taking this jewel socket here and putting in Lion's Fall. I don't have it right now on me, but it is a jewel that makes it so that increases and reductions to, or increases to, melee damage. It basically just transforms things that apply to melee instead apply to bows. So I'm going to be taking Lion's Fall, which then does hit this entire dagger wheel right here, and just adds a lot of crit chance and crit multi. And I will be taking that, and then I'll be taking this entire bottom part of the wheel because Lion's Fall will reach that. And I'll be taking this entire thing to apply to bows instead, which then will be another pretty big damage increase. You can also take, again, Written in Blood. That's more life there, which is good. I highly recommend taking Spell Suppress. This build is squishy, and when I run a map in a second, I will probably die. So this build is squishy, and I am going to be reworking myself to be Spell Suppress capped instead at the very least, but that's still some time. It's still going to be some time before that happens. Tattoo-wise, nothing crazy. I just have some projectile speed just to kind of make arrows go back and forth faster. You could do the same. You could take the increased reductions to projectile speed, also apply to damage. That's just more damage. Whatever you want to do realistically, but the requirements as far as tattoo goes, there really aren't any. It's nothing crazy. You could probably take a +1 dex skill gem there if you want to instead for the tattoo, or onslaught on hit tattoo, whatever you want to do there. And I think with that, let's quickly talk gear, and then I'll kind of just do like a mapping showcase with the character. Let's talk gear and gems. So I just recently got this. This is just an assassin bow, because again, like I said, the speed, your attack speed does not matter at all. So actually that makes assassin bow very, very good for the implicit increased critical strike multiplier. I got one that has a fractured 1 additional arrow. If you had one that has 2 additional arrows and also a bunch of elemental damage on it, then great, that's even better. And then otherwise just crit chance and crit multi. This thing isn't perfect by any means. As you can see, the cold damage added to it is very low. The fire damage isn't a great roll either. The crit multi is also really low, but the crit chance is really good. So it's just a decent bow for now. It'll eventually become better. You don't need to have it 6-linked. What I have in the bow right now is just Tornado, because the mines do also hit the Tornado. You can see it's affecting the Tornado, makes it a cold NATO. So I just have Tornado in here with some added cold damage, increased duration, increased area of effect, and then I'm just leveling an Awakened Cold Penetration. Glove-wise, these just have Chaos Res, some Strength because I needed Strength, and Suppress Spell Damage, which is, again, just very cozy. I'll probably be trying to hit these with a Veiled Chaos Orb, lock suffixes, and hit it with a Veiled Chaos and try to hit Fizz Converted to Cold. Pray for me. I'm sure that's not going to go well. Belt-wise, I have just a Stygian, and I just slammed it with the Redeemer Orb that I happen to have, and hit the increased cold damage. It's only tier 3, so this thing, again, isn't crazy. It just needs to have resistances and some life, some other good stuff. Nothing insane. It's a belt. It could definitely be bigger. It could definitely be smaller. Boot-wise here, this is, let's see, these also just have general resistances, some life regen, some life, not bad whatsoever. I just have fractured move speed, as you can see, and then some Fizz's extra cold and some more move speed. Again, boots are boots. They don't need to do anything crazy. They just need to be boots and match and give you some resistances. What is my Chaos Res, speaking of? I'm actually positive on Chaos Res. Feels good. Another thing that is nice, we're taking the Taming here for the increased damage with hits and ailments per freeze, shock, or ignite on the enemy. We have a bunch of chance to freeze, shock, and ignite. Obviously, we're freezing a bunch with Ice Shot. And we're also using Heat Shiver, which I didn't talk about earlier. But we are using Heat Shiver as well, which is just an incredibly good. It fits very, very well into this build, I will say. Heat Shiver fits very nicely. So you don't really need any enchants on it. I was looking at the enchants for Ice Shot. They aren't crazy. You could find one maybe for reservation efficiency of one of the gems. That would also be fine. Oh, speaking of gems, sorry. Let's backtrack a little bit. Let's rewind. We're going to talk about, so gloves wise, this is Arcanus brand, which we have set up with Elemental Weakness, Life Tap, and Sniper's Mark. Just so that way you can just stick this on an enemy. It will cast Elemental Weakness. It'll cast Sniper's Mark. Locks those in place. Just find whatever you have a big target that isn't dying. Throw that on them. Throw your mines on them. Get to going. Boot wise, I just have, this is where the Skitterbots are, Grace, Precision, and an Enlightened support are. Again, just to make things a little bit easier, like you'd be able to throw out more mines because mines reserve mana. This ring, I don't think is anything crazy. Nope, it just has some added cold damage, some resistances. It's not very good, actually. I'll probably be replacing this with something else. I just don't know what I'm going to be replacing it with yet. And then for the amulet, we're using a replica Hyre's Truth. This gives us Hatred with 100% increased mana reservation efficiency, and gives bow attacks I keep saying crit, Culling Strike, and then also gives us some crit multi. It's very, very strong as well. You could also use regular Hyre's for, I think it's level 30 precision, and then also gives it mana reservation efficiency. But then I think you'd want to slot in a Hatred instead here. I don't know which is better, truthfully. I just went with replica because why not, right? And then allocate sovereignty on it, which is just for more reservation efficiency. It is this node over here. It's 3 silvers. So that's what we have for that. And then the quiver, just a generic quiver. I just slammed another Redeemer Orb on it because, again, I had one. So as long as it fits resistances, it has the bow attacks, fire an additional arrow, also very important. Otherwise, you'll be reducing yourself down to like 2 arrows, and you really, really don't want to have 2 arrows. It feels very awkward. Chess piece wise, we just have some, again, this isn't anything crazy. I actually had to remake this thing because the first round was really terrible, but this is just a Hunter. It has Redeemer as well, but it has no Redeemer mods. It's just Hunter. So it just has, again, resistances, attack crit chance, which is very important. Just gives us more general crit. And then you can apply an additional curse, which again is just good for the Arcanus brand. That lets us actually use LE Weakness and Sniper's Mark. Not bad whatsoever. For gem setup, we have a level 2120 Ice Shot. That is because Vol Ice Shot doesn't do anything for us whatsoever, so don't even worry about it. Elemental damage with attacks, of course, is good. Returning projectiles, this is where you can kind of swap it around and do whatever you want, honestly. If you don't care about the returning projectiles, you can instead do greater multiple projectiles here. You could do, whenever you're about to do a boss, you could throw barrage support in there. That'll just add, I think that just adds more damage. I'm pretty sure that actually makes it very high damage overall. But if you like the clear for it, I personally like having returning projectiles. And then Anomalous gives it it gives it 20% chance to return again, so they'll go back, forth, which just isn't bad overall. But that's entirely up to you. That's entirely up to each individual. It's just whatever you feel most comfortable with. I just like the returning again because it kind of makes things easier from a perspective of clear, because you'll throw the mine, you kind of move up a little bit, and then the arrows would kind of bounce back and forth and hit anything that the other ones didn't. And then we have Trap and Mine support. I recommend this one because it gives reservation efficiency. Anomalous Trap and Mine gives reservation efficiency and reduced mana cost. It's just pretty nice overall. That's a good one. Added cold damage. This will I need to actually transition this to an awakened added cold damage. Awakened added cold will give us +1 to Ice Shot as well as just being bigger overall. And then this is the Locus Mine support. I do want to make a couple of quick notes outside of the note I made earlier. So again, you fire 30% less projectiles, so you need to keep that in mind when you're setting up how many additional arrows you fire. The other thing is that you cannot detonate the mines while they're within 3 meters of you. So, as an important thing, if I'm standing here, none of these are going to go off. I have to move further away for them to go off. So I think leveling with this when you actually have enough arrows is pretty important to kind of get used to the feel of throwing the arrows either like in front of you or behind you, and kind of maneuvering yourself and positioning yourself in a way so that the arrows hit and so that everything else falls in line. Oh, I forgot to talk about gems in my helmet as well. Staging wise, also, this isn't anything crazy. Lightning damage with wand attacks. I exalt slammed that. Sad. But the rest of it is decent. Fire damage, life, penetrate if you haven't killed recently. That's fine. And then for Heat Shiver here, very quickly we have Life Tap for Flame Dash, and then Frenzy with Mana Forged Arrows. Just gives us our Frenzy charges. Mana Forged Arrows, as you can see, like the green that's firing out. Whenever I'm throwing mines, that's from Mana Forged Arrows. Frenzy good. If you wanted to, you could put Ensnaring Arrow in here as well. Like if I wanted to move the Flame Dash to my bow here, I could do that, and then also put like Ensnaring Arrow in here or something else up in there as well. Whatever you want to do there. Yeah, I think that is it as far as gearing goes. Nothing else too insane. So let's just run a very quick map. Now I'll just kind of oops, I think I forgot to turn on an actual influence. Whoops. Sure, Delirium. So like I said, I'll probably die. I'll probably die while I'm running through this, because I'm still figuring out a lot of the gear and everything, but you can see, like, clear-wise, the build works very well. And another thing is that I have been doing this character in ToTA quite a lot as well, Try the Ancestors, and it works surprisingly well. Just like freezing everybody, it basically hits screen wide in ToTA. So you pretty much hit everybody and freeze most of them, and it's incredibly nice for that. Overall, I think it's probably one of the better characters I've had for Trial of the Ancestors. Oh, 5 link. So, but yeah, as you can see though, you just kind of, the other thing as well is you have to get used to, it's a lot of mouse movement, because you have to you're throwing your mines behind you, in front of you. Okay, all right, calm down there, guys. You're throwing your mines, in front of you, and then kind of moving out of the way or behind you as you're running, so that the arrows target you and come over and hit enemies. But yeah, this is all that there is to it. You're just kind of running around. But I really have been enjoying this character. It's been very smooth, outside of obviously, some deaths, like almost like that. I could also use some more. I could also use some more evasion rating. Truthfully, my evasion rating isn't all that high. NATO. My invasion rating isn't incredibly high and could used to be better. But like I said, I have some more crafting to do. I have some more gearing to do in general. I have the this I have to get spell suppress capped. Like I'm still working on that. So there's a lot to do with this character still. But you know, she's only level 88 right now, so still plenty of time to do stuff. Bing, bing. Alright, another ritual. I'm not sure how well this character will do. Well, like, I hope this character does well for bossing. Like, I'm certainly gonna try to kill bosses with this character. Obviously, at least the regular versions. I mean, Ubers I've never done, and I really don't know if I realistically ever will. I'm sure I will at some point, but like I've never done anything with. I haven't really like pushed that, but I haven't really pushed this character too, and I'm kind of curious to see if I don't know what that is. I didn't read it. I'm kind of curious to know what. Let's put all my stuff out here. What it's going to be like to boss with this character, to try to kill some bosses. Like, is it going to be painful, or is it going to be fine because of having to like throw your projectiles and kind of put yourself in a way to where you're hitting them, but you're not getting hit yourself. So I don't know. It'll be some interesting things to figure out. Scarabs, excellent, excellent. Oh, get out of here. More scarabs. Okay. Bink, bink, bink. Yeah, you'll be able to tell if you're too close to the mines as well if you do hear it kind of going with that chink, chink, chink. Or any other noise. Also, as far as right, this was a dual boss map. If there are any oh, I lost my train of thought. Too much going on. I was thinking about other things and completely lost my train of thought. But yeah, you can see this is the character. You'd get used to the kind of throwing mines and then running around and playstyle. But it is personally to me a lot of fun. It was one of the more interesting gems that they announced for this league, so I wanted to give it a go. And I realized I hadn't done an ice shop build in a while. So I think with that, we'll call it there. Yeah, I'll have the POB. I will probably have the more final version of the tree that I'm going to be using down below in the description. I'll probably have a more final version of the path building that I'm going to be using for this character. Probably you'll see it leveled up a little bit. But overall, this will be this is pretty much the character for now. I'll make a follow-up video whenever I level this character up some more. You know, like I said, I'm kind of going back and forth between this character and a melee character, so I'm sure eventually I'll make a video about the melee guy as well, depending on how well he turns out. But at the very least, this character feels like it's been worth making a video and worth doing something with. So I hope that you enjoyed. I hope you find it interesting at the very least. Like I said, I'll have the POV below if you want to take a little look. Otherwise, I hope you enjoy. I hope you're having fun with ToTA. Again, ToTA has been such a great league. It's been such a fun experience overall. And you know, just keep enjoying some PoE. Log in. Take care now. Bye bye then.